2007, I was diagnosed with cancer. My neighbor across the street, he died of cancer. The neighbor down the street, she died of cancer. On my block alone, we had at least 8 people, minimum, pass away from cancer. We're home to 2 salt companies and 2 asphalt companies, an oil refinery, and then this is going to be the 3rd asphalt company if they're allowed to open and operate.
Sometimes the odors are so bad in the summertime, if you have a window open, it's so awful you have to get up and close the windows. You just can't stand the odor. Now we've had a lot of new, different odors. I don't know if some of that's coming from Great Lakes because, like I say, they have been working over there and cleaning up the site somewhat, according to what they're telling us, but they haven't been truthful either in the wording on their application for permit to MDEQ and to the city in Brownsfield. They keep changing the wording, so there's no trust between Great Lakes and this community.
Great Lakes officials wouldn't comment, but have said the project would provide jobs and clean up the contaminated site. State officials granted a permit to Great Lakes in November, concluding their emissions, quote, were permissible and did not pose a risk to the public health or environment. Great Lakes officials claimed emissions from the project would be less than 2% than the last occupant of the property, which was Owens Corning Roofing Asphalt that closed in 2007. Quote, Great Lakes will be providing jobs in the community, ensuring that a local business has a greater chance of success, will put a currently idle property back into beneficial use consistent with its zoning and history, and will be remediating the site and installing controls to protect groundwater in the future, wrote owner James Jacob in an October letter to State Representative Rashida Tlaib. Quote, this is all clearly in the public interest.
White crosses in the yard. Well, we started a White Cross campaign. We started a White Cross campaign to show how many families or people in our community that have been affected by cancer and upper respiratory diseases. We're seeing a large number of sarcoidosis appearing, and all these things affect the upper respiratory part of the body, human body. And we have done sampling, air sampling, independent air sampling, and in the air sampling we have found presence of toluene and MEK, methyl ethyl ketone, and those are known hazards to human life at any level.
Officials with the Michigan Department of Natural Resources and Environment are monitoring the residents' results and doing their own air testing. MEK is considered to be a hazardous substance that can be used in the making of plastics and paint. According to the EPA, high concentrations can cause irritation to the eyes, nose, and throat. Other possible effects include central nervous system depression, headache, and nausea.
I believe it was in April. He fell ill in March, and it was April. And from that point on, things moved really quickly. He got it in his. He said it started in his lung, and they also found some in his brain, and they managed to clear up the lung cancer and the brain cancer, but by that time it had also jumped over into his spine, and ultimately that's what killed him. Almost every other child had asthma or bronchitis or some kind of upper respiratory problems. And I remember I told a girlfriend of mine, and I said, I've never seen anything like that before. You know, all the kids out here, you know, are all afflicted with asthma. And everybody seemed to just be going on with, you know, business as usual, but I knew that it was more than just a coincidence.
We're being plagued by economic problems. We're being plagued by health problems. We're being plagued by blight problems. We have so many problems that need to be addressed. And I think community, local government, and big business need to come together, and they need to create a master plan to revitalize this community, 48217. Don't let it die out. Don't let it become a graveyard. Do something to save the community. That's what my wish, and that's what my hope, and that's what my fight is, to save our community.